Good morning, I'm Ryan Jokes, and this is your Barbados Today morning edition for Wednesday, September 27th. Glad you could join us. Local attorneys are uneasy about the speed at which a senior police officer facing ammunition charges was able to secure bail on Monday. Mere hours after a magistrate remanded the acting senior superintendent of police, John Mark Annell, to HMP Dodds until October 23rd, his lawyers, Sir Richard Cheltenham and Shelley-Ann Sitaran, were able to secure a bail hearing and convince Chief Justice Sir Marston Gibson to release their client on a $150,000 bail. President of the Barbados Bar Association, Lizelle Weeks, said it was not the norm for someone facing charges to receive such a quick bail hearing. She told Barbados Today the normal period has been 2 to 3 weeks in recent years, insisting that the court must be seen as impartial in the way it delivers justice. The 56-year-old Annell of Kenrick Hudson Drive, Lucas Street, St. Philip, is accused of committing 6 indictable offences under the Firearms Act. Weeks made a point of stressing that she did not want to attribute improper motives to the court system. However, the Bar Association head suggested that a $150,000 bail was questionable given the serious charges being made against the police officer. Housing Minister Dennis Kelman says after making nearly $150 million in payments to contractor Al Barak, government is still leasing the Warren's office complex from Barak Construction Limited. He was speaking in Parliament last evening as the House debated and passed a $13.7 million supplementary vote to complete the payment of legal fees to Barak's attorneys, Sir Richard Cheltenham QC, Sir Maurice King QC, Sir Trevor Carmichael QC, and Douglas Trotman. Kelman says these inherited expenses were burdensome to the ruling Democratic Labour Party administration. They come 9 years after a High Court ordered the then BLP, the Barbados Labour Party-led administration, to shell out $34 million for Barak's part in completing the Warren's office complex. Barak was finally paid last year. However, his settlement ended up being more than the original judgment, twice as much, due to accrued interest. Residents in the relatively new community of the Palms, Lower Estate, St. George, are complaining that fresh air seems to be a thing of the past in their neighbourhood, and they're blaming the foul smell, which they said they've endured since May, to a waste dump at Lower Estate owned by waste hauler Anderson Fatchild Cherry. One resident who spoke to Barbados Today on condition of anonymity said the stench was unbearable. However, when a team visited the quarry at Cherry's invitation, there was hardly a stench. He admitted that there was a fire in the quarry back in May, but said it was quickly brought under control.
Well, you are here now, so I would like hope that you would accurately report that you aren't smelling the smell. Or not a lot of smell, huh? You can smell it for yourself, you are here, and you would, you know, when you could say how you smell it, and you can see the work that was going on.
The head of PANCAP, the Pan-Caribbean Partnership Against HIV and AIDS, is this morning having his say on laws dictating the age of sexual consent, which for many countries in the Caribbean is 16 years of age. Derek Springer tells Barbados Today that this is out of sync with laws which deny this same age cohort unsupervised access to sexual and reproductive services.
So they cannot access sexual and reproductive health services until they're 18 years old. If not, if they're below that, they have to be accompanied by a parent or an adult, some guardian. And so that, of course, prevents many young people from being able to access prevention services. And we want to ensure that our young people, who are both current as well as our future generation, can live in a world that is free of HIV. And therefore I will call upon our territories, our member states, to ensure that we address that dissonance between the age of consent and the age at which young people can access services, so that we have more of our young people being able to keep themselves free of HIV. And if, for example, they're living with HIV, that they can have access to those services. And of course, addressing the whole sexual and reproductive health in general.
The devastation caused by Hurricane Maria in Dominica has brought back some bitter memories for Prime Minister of Grenada, Dr. Keith Mitchell, who's also Caricom's chairman. His country suffered a similar fate back in 2004 when it was struck by Hurricane Ivan. Mitchell said it's important that the Dominican Prime Minister, Skerrit, gets all the support he needs from his Caricom counterparts during this difficult period of rebuilding. Mitchell says, having experienced a similar situation of building from scratch again, he's prepared to stand by his Dominican counterpart. He was speaking with media on the sidelines of the Caricom Development Fund meeting being held in Barbados before making his way to Dominica.
Trinidad was absolutely great in its response to what happened in Grenada. Financially, the security forces came in. All security forces, some of them didn't behave well. The Trinidad security force came in and took over my home and provided support security services with the initiative of Prime Minister Manning and the Trinidad and people of and government of Trinidad and Tobago. So I'm as a Caribbean man, watching Dominica and watching my brother, I want to be there to provide that psychological support and to say that we are all with you and to tell the Dominican people that we are all with you in your hour of need, because I know.
Who calling? Get your yams and potatoes. Wait, my girl, how you want to see you for long?
I got how you keeping, but you don't sell the nation paper no more.
But that paper ain't selling. This month now I stop selling that. Look, one time I would have made a little dollar on the Sunday sun. But when Sunday night, I still trying to get the weather there.
Well, you know you can't call that the Sunday sun no more. You're going to call that Sunset News. Because at no time that news stale.
People complain that them ain't got nothing in it to read, and the price keep going up all the time. A woman abused me so sick the other day, telling me that she does read Barbados today online for free. I can't take that abusing soul, so I switched to my potatoes and yams.
Well, let me tell you, if pork selling, you got to raise pigs. How much for the yams?
Oh, 75 cents a pound.
Well, that's cheaper than that stale news. Give me...
How much you want?
a pound.
Only a pound? Anyhow, these eating real good. Let me wrap them up for you. Come.
The Barbados Today, news you can trust.
In news from the region now, St. Lucia has so far accepted 17 high-risk inmates from the British Virgin Islands and the Turks and Caicos Islands as part of an agreement with the British government following the passage of Hurricane Irma a few weeks ago. Irma wreaked widespread carnage on the territories this month, causing severe structural damage to the main prison facilities on both territories. 2 aircraft landed in St. Lucia at the Harawana International Airport yesterday to offload their heavily guarded prisoners before they were transported to the Bordelais Correctional Facility. Director of Corrections Vern Gard says his team can manage the additional prisoners and there's no need to fear.
It is not an issue for us to house high-risk inmates. We have done so before. It is not something that we are not accustomed to. I just wanted to say that in 2004, we housed 40 Grenadian nationals of various risk levels at the facility, and that mission was done successfully.
On the international front, chaotic scenes broke out in Uganda's parliament as MPs debated the contentious removal of the presidential age limit. Tempers flared and lawmakers were filmed brawling after it was alleged that an MP had brought a gun into the chamber. The speaker ordered a search for the weapon, but no gun was found. The age limit issue is controversial because long-standing President Yoweri Museveni is 73 years old and the limit for re-election is capped at 75. President Museveni has been in power since 1986 and democratically elected as president since 1996. But the current constitutional age limit prevents him from standing for a 4th term in the 2021 elections. And that's news. For the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb, subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Ryan Jilts. Continue to enjoy your day.